I believe that creativity is essential to God. I think God creates moment by moment at every level, simple and complex of existence, but there's always a creaturely co-creative aspect involved. Whenever I see something beautiful, whenever I see something that inspires me, something I think is good, something that I think is profound or well put together, I think God was the source of that. Creatures had some kind of role in making that a reality. But everything beautiful, good, excellent, true, lovely, whatever that I see in creation, I think God is the source of that. And in some way, the elements, the creatures, creation responded well to God's creating in those instances. When I see something utterly ugly and what I might call genuinely evil, I think there was a lack of cooperation on creation's part. In my view, God always sparks something better, or at least invites us to something better. And that doesn't mean the future is going to be all rosy and everything is going to make progress, because we can decide not to cooperate with that something better. But it means, at least on God's part of things, the future can always get better than what it currently is because of God's creative, beautiful love. I hike almost every week of my life, sometimes more than once. And when I mean hike, I mean not just a stroll through the neighborhood. I get out in places where I'm the only human walking through the landscape. I'm a photographer. And so when I get out, I'm usually moving through a variety of ideas and experiences and feelings moment by moment. Part of the experience is getting a good workout hiking. There's nothing like getting a good sweat, and I think that stimulates my mind, but also my emotions. And sometimes I take particular time to look at the landscape. As a photographer, I'm always looking for the light. I'm always looking to see where the light's at, what it's doing, how I might make a photograph that captures something interesting related to the light. I oftentimes think about the relationship as a Christian between passages of scripture that talk about God as light and the actual light I see with my eyes as a photographer. Usually those scriptures about God as light have something to do with knowledge necessary for salvation, or wisdom, or some kind of insight into divine love or God's work in the world. And of course, that's not quite the same as the light in a photograph. But I find myself thinking, I want to be looking for the light in my photograph in the same way that I'm looking for the light in how I think about God's work in the world. That is, I want to be open to see, to feel, to experience what I think might be God's enlightening love in the same way I want to be open to feel, to sense that light in the composition of my photograph. When I think about God as a creator, I think of God as a universal spirit. And this universal spirit coaxes, invites, calls, woos, in some way elicits a response from creation. And that's the creative power of God. William Blake called God the poetic genius. Alfred North Whitehead called God the poet of the universe. There's something about that poetic language that's not a hand hammering nails. It's a calling, a word spoken that elicits a response. And in that interaction, something new and beautiful can emerge. It's a creative advance between God and creation, moment by moment.